Hi there, welcome back. Today we're gonna test candlestick patterns while adding a trailing stop to decide the exits. So in previous videos, the test can be unrealistic because people do not necessarily always exit a trading on day 5, day 6, day 10, day 15, but they are gonna look at certain candlestick patterns. Uh, so in this video, we're gonna try to make it a little closer to what people normally do by adding a trailing stop. So this is a relatively decent risk management strategy because you're gonna be able to cut your lose quick and you're gonna be able to ride the gain for a longer period of time. So this will likely make all the strategies look much better than they actually is. This is the code. So to add the trailing stop, I will need to use the backtesting package in Python. I have the matplotlib package here where I can show the account balance after each trade. So same thing, I'm gonna get all the candlestick patterns. I'm gonna test using two data sets in this video. So in the first one, I'm gonna test 5 minutes interval in the past 20 days. Sorry, in the past 60 days. And then I'm gonna test using daily interval over the past 30 years. So let's run the code. We have the data. This is the shape of the data. Here I'm adding the average true range over the past 10 days. So the average true range will serve as a trailing stop. And then I'm gonna create all the patterns in the data. Then I need to define a signal function to be used in the backtesting package. And then to backtest my package, I need to create this class, and it's called MyStrat. And this class is just specifically used in the backtesting package. And I have a portfolio size of 5%, 0.05. This is really, really big. Yeah, this is really, really big. But if you look at the candlesticks, if you recall from a last video, we don't really see a lot of those candlestick patterns. So we're not really risking for too many times. I can switch to 0.01%, but I don't think the conclusion will change. So here I initiate the signal. So, and here I say, I take the trades. So I have the stop loss defined here, depending on whether I have a long or short position. So here, if I do not have a position and I do observe a long signal, I enter into a long position. Again, 5% at the previous close, and again, 5% of the account size, and with the average true range as my stop loss. So if I observe a short signal, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so here I just need to run these two really quickly. So here I just take one random candlestick pattern and try to test the result. If I run this, you're going to see that I'm only exposed 5% of the time over the past 60 days. So this is about 3 days. And as you can see, I lost a little bit of the money. I didn't lose a lot. I lost 60 bucks, right? And the return is negative 0.12%. So that's a little loss, a small loss. Basically, it's very likely that I only observed one pattern doing this, and it appeared only once. So as a result, yeah, I lost $60 over the past 60 days if I traded this strategy. So one thing to keep in mind is that the Sharpe ratio is negative for sure because we lost money. But one thing to notice is the buy and hold return. The buy and hold return is 0.073178%. So it's not a lot of return either, right? So the spider didn't really go up a lot over the past 60 days. Okay, so that's the code is working okay. So let's look at more candlestick patterns. So here I create a list of results and a list of heat maps. So the list of results is going to store the results for the different patterns. So I'm going to loop through all the patterns, backtest each pattern, and then keep the results in there. Okay. And one thing that the backtest does is that it can optimize the strategy. So by changing the stop loss and take profit, and of course the stop loss take profit ratio, and I'm gonna maximize the return. All right, so here it's time to weigh in some editing magic. Okay, it's done. So so here I'm ready to look at some of the summary statistics of the tested strategies. So if I hit enter here, as you can see, the aggregate buy and hold return is about 7.67%. It is much better than the buy and hold return over the past 60 days with the risk management, the trailing stop. So if you look at the buy and hold return, once again, it's only 0.73%. It's not 73%. It's only 0.73%. So yeah, so it seems it's pretty good. Let's look at some of the equity curves. So for every candlestick pattern, I'm going to plot the curve. So I run this, and then I run this. As you can see, this is already here. So if you look at the account balance, you're going to see at a point, I see a pretty aggregated jump, kind of. And if I ignore the jump, everything is pretty much just drifting around zero, right? So this jump is pretty much making the money for us. And if you look at the end of period distribution, you're going to see that a lot of the strategies is going to end up with a positive result rather than a negative result, right? So here, if you look at this one strategy is really, really bad. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to argue now is that even though this seems it's outperforming the buy and hold returns up there, I do not think it is the best benchmark because in a buy and hold return, we do not really have any trading stops, right? So we do not do any risk management. We don't do anything, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is to establish the benchmark. So the benchmark, I want the benchmark to be random signals. I'm gonna generate long, short, and do nothing signals. So basically, I'm gonna generate a random number from -1 to +1. So if it's a -1, I'm gonna say it's a short signal. If it's a +1, I say it's a long signal. If it's 0, then I say it's no signal, right? So I'm gonna try to do this for 500 times, collect all the data, and put down the summary statistics of the data. Okay, so if I run this, okay, it's time for another round of editing magic. Okay, it's done. And then let's look at some statistics. So if you look at the statistics, we got 128.11% of return, and we traded a lot, many times. The best maximum drawdown is 1.07%, and average drawdown is 0.04%, which is pretty great, right? So we are winning 42% of the time, and the best trade makes about 3%. The worst trade is about 2%, right? So it's not so bad. So if you look at this, if you consider this a random entry and random exit as the benchmark, a candlestick based entry is just so much worse. Then I plot the equity curve. As you can see, I'll say the most of the value is coming from the risk management. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just show you the results on the screen of the performance using daily data. You're going to see that we ended up with a similar conclusion. So what do you think? Are candlestick patterns worth your time? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow traders. Until the next time, I hope you enjoy learning from the data.